There's a black joke in show business that death is a great career move. Well, one person in a position to bear out the double-edged truth of this is Clive James, the TV critic, memoirist, poet and all-round force of nature. He was diagnosed with leukemia in 2010 and soon after he went through a very public estrangement from his wife after revelations about a long affair of his. In wry observation, he says he was willing to accept that his life was coming to an end. He spent much time binge-watching television series and used the little energy he had to read and write. Out of the crisis came some of James's most admired work. Well, with the help of groundbreaking drugs, he's still here and is taking what some might see a morbid pleasure in what he calls his posthumous years. Stephen Smith went to see him at his home in Cambridge, where he's just written a book about his passion for television box sets.
If I look like a heap of shit or a wreck, let's just leave it in, you know, because I'll write it into the show for you, I promise.
OK. Candour is everything.
The methylamine keeps flowing no matter what. We are not ramping down. We're just getting started.
Breaking Bad, an acclaimed drama about a man who's buying himself some time through drugs, has been entertaining Clive James, a man who's buying himself some time through drugs. I've never really seen box sets.
I must say that there, straight away, I've been useful, haven't I? Because I've brought you into a new field. The appeal is you can't stop watching. If you've chosen the right show, it's like getting on a train and it never stops. I used to be in the TV criticism business years ago. And when I left it, the wind-up piece that I wrote in my last week, I predicted that American TV would never improve. It couldn't. And of course it did, in a big way. I made a slow start with Game of Thrones. I didn't really want to start, actually, because it's got dragons. And I can't stand dragons. And I saw 5 minutes of the first episode, there were dragon eggs in it. I didn't even want to see them hatch. I was talked into it by my younger daughter. And I found myself, against my expectations, utterly hooked.
If you look at what the terrestrial channels here still provide, recently we've had things like The Night Manager, War and Peace, Peaky Blinders, even dear old Downton Abbey.
I don't like any of them.
You must do.
No, the ones you named. You just happen to chance upon the shows that I think are nowhere beside the American ones. What was the one that was set in Egypt, the John le Carré thing?
Jesus.
I thought it was pretty close to being nonsense, that one. And if I was still in the TV criticism business, I would have written that.
Are you to blame for reality television, Clive?
People sometimes say so, and I'm very flattered, but it's not quite so. The truth is I put the reality shows that were being made elsewhere in the world on screen here. Some of them extremely improbable, like the Japanese shows, Endurance.
If you're worried that there's such a thing as a television producer who wants to roast people in a plastic box, bomb them with pepper, dress them as bats and hang them upside down with their pants full of cockroaches, ask yourself what you'd rather he was doing instead.
What happened next, however, wasn't funny at all. They all became believable, and we started to do them. I'm afraid I played a part in that. I may have been a participant in the biggest deterioration of culture in history.
What an ironic
it's all my fault.
end thought for such a high mind, you know.
Some of the reality TV shows don't work.
Are you ready for the jump?
One of the channels not long ago tried one about ski jumping. Didn't work at all.
Well, they were celebrities.
Yeah, but that was a problem, wasn't it? Because not many actual celebrities. You can't really send Helen Mirren over a cliff. It's a law of show business.
Now, you've described this time as your posthumous years.
Did I say that?
I think you did.
It's not bad.
It's very good.
Yeah.
What did you mean? What's it been like?
It's been very, very productive. I sort of wrote myself off in 2011 because I was really on my way out then. I was in serious medical trouble, and I got saved by chance. Really, it was I picked the exact moment in history where preventive medicine for the thing I've got, which is leukemia, took a sudden advance. It's got a wonderful name. It's called ibrutinib, and as I've said in my new book, it sounds like a piece of film dialogue, doesn't it? Ibrutinib.
Yes.
You olanzapine or something.
You can see Russell Crowe playing it.
Yes, exactly. It's got an overdeveloped neck, hasn't it? Ibrutinib.
The granddaughter of the girl from Ipanema is the princess of that same beach today.
The former primetime host has had time to read his obituaries, and with a book of poems, to write a few of them too.
I was rather embarrassed because I did almost die in 2010 and 2011, and I think it was the second time. There was a wave of obituaries, fond goodbyes, tears in eye, really, really choked with emotion. And there I was, alive and reading it.
Please don't take this the wrong way. This sounds, forgive me if this sounds tasteless.
It sounds like the sort of thing where the only sensible thing to do would be to take
it the wrong way. You've become the sort of Julian Assange of leukemia in a way, haven't you? Everyone's waiting for the next development.
Everyone's waiting for Julian Assange to starve to death in that embassy.
Or do something.
To do something.
Leave.
I'm not so sure he was very wise to go in there. He should have gone off and...
Oh, to face these charges.
Yeah, face the music. The music is often interesting.
Well, I suppose if one might be harsh and personal, one might say that perhaps you should have faced the music a bit earlier with family matters.
You can try that, but you're not going to get far. It's a nice question.
Okay.
Cherish that one. Use it on Julian Assange.
All right. You wrote that lovely poem about a maple tree in your garden, all about essentially how it would outlive you. And what's happened?
This is a sensitive point. It died. I may have to write another poem about that, but at the moment I'm avoiding the subject. A replacement tree, much smaller, but I like to think sturdier, is out there in the garden now.
Clive James.